Good evening, everybody. This is Ryan with another HM1 in 2021. Today we're going over Bumed Instruction 6550.9 Bravo, which is the policy and guidance for the Sick Call Screener program. I have never worked in primary care as a corpsman, so for me this one was kind of like learning a new language, but a lot of this info makes a lot of sense. So let's get into it. So again, Bumed Instruction 6550.9 Bravo is the name of this instruction. And its purpose is to look at sick call screeners, which is going to be referred to as SCS in the program, and also to standardize the sick call screener program, which is the SCSP. The sick call screener program's got two goals: improve access to primary care. So basically it's not bogging down the doctor as much because they're able to have their corpsmen churn and burn some more stuff. And it also helps train corpsmen for service with operational units. Here's a number, so that's always important. Personnel deploying as IAs or within 180 days of transferring to an operational platform will have priority enrollment. So just think if there's someone going IA or in 180 days they're going to an operational platform, they have priority enrollment to go to the class. See, there's QA stuff that's going to be talked about. So who can go to this class? Sick Call Screener program. Any hospital corpsman, provided they completed the prereqs for enrollment, and they need to have an endorsement for their chain of command. And they must have completed HMSB, which pretty much all corpsmen need to complete HMSB. Talks about the training, which is kind of, it's training that you think it would be. A mixture of didactic classroom lectures, prac apps, physical exams, physical diagnosis, and clinical practica. And you have to complete some NKO courses. So hospital corpsman fundamentals, anatomy and physiology. And then once they complete all phases, they're qualified as a sick call screener. Something interesting that I learned is sick call screeners actually need to have annual training stuff. It's not like a one and done class. They need 8 hours to supervise clinical training annually. And they must have annually competency assessments done from a sick call screener supervisor. And that the training and assessment must be documented in their sick call screening training record. Then who maintains those sick call screener training records, you may ask? That would be the sick call screening program manager. So they're the manager for the program. They're the ones that hold all the training records. And then reserves may establish a sick call screener program to allow personnel to complete the course instruction within a year of enrollment. Reserve commands must implement a process to validate completion of standard curriculum. See, roles and responsibilities. Navy Medicine Manpower Personnel Training and Education Command is the one who develops and standardizes the sick call screening program, which I think is probably up there with the 180 days of things it's important to know. Who actually puts it out, and the abbreviation for that is NAVMED MPT&E. So Manpower Personnel Training and Education. They're the ones that distribute and develop the sick call screener program. So it's like a legit structured course that it looks like it's pretty standardized throughout the Navy. And they also need to make sure there's electronic links to conduct training with the current resource material. And they also need to coordinate with staff ed to ensure standardized administration for the program. What do the COs do? They implement a formal sick call screener program and exercise overall responsibility for the program. And they also need to appoint in writing program directors who oversee and coordinate the program. So, sick call screener program. That needs to be a licensed provider. So, according to this instruction, a sick call screener program director needs to be an MO, a PA, or a nurse practitioner at or above the pay grade or O3. So very specific. Needs to be either a medical corps officer, a PA, or a nurse practitioner. Responsible for implementation, and that's so they're taking care of it. They appoint their program managers, and so that's the program director. The program manager can be an MO, they can be a PA, they can be an NP, but they also can be an IDC. However, only chief or above. However, if none of those are available, an HM1 may be assigned as a program manager. It says he's 6, but I don't think there's any IDCs that aren't HM1s. That'd be an interesting thing if they're out there. And then what does that program manager do? They supervise the curriculum training. They establish and routine monitor each person's curriculum. They look at deficiencies. They maintain some training records. And they ensure documentation of all candidates is recorded into DMRS I. Huh, I didn't know that that gets recorded in the DMRS I, Defense Medical Human Resource System Internet. Interesting, fun things to learn. So, sick call screener supervisor. Yeah, there's a program director, there's a program manager, there's a supervisor. The supervisor must be an MO, PA, nurse practitioner, or IDC. They must supervise all sick call screeners and be available throughout each patient's care as provided by a sick call screener. They must be involved in the decision-making process and approve all therapeutic interventions. How I'm reading the supervisor, it's kind of like, because I did work as an ER in an ER for my first duty station. I think it's kind of like that, where it's like, hey doc, this is what I think's going on, this is what we do. Corman says, or the doc says, yeah man, do that, go ahead. So it sounds to me like the sick call screener goes in, they does their preliminary diagnosis, they go brief the doc or the IDC. IDC does their case conceptualization, and then they do all the interventions after the doc says, yeah, go ahead and do that. Supervisors must, before the patient leaves the area, review and co-sign every treatment entry. So it says straight up, they need to sign the treatment entry before the patient leaves the clinic. And they're looking at quality of care, quality documentation, and compliance with their authorized scope. And they also make sure that all sick call screeners know what their scope of care is, approved stuff, and what has the patient go higher, which makes a lot of sense. I think that's an important CYA caveat, is that the sick call screeners need to know what they're allowed to do and what meds they can give and when to refer people up. Now, what do the screeners actually do? So they're able to evaluate and treat minor illnesses, what they have been provided approved treatment protocols. And it describes that as kind of like the icky sickies. So sick call screeners can diagnose and treat minor headaches, uncomplicated URIs, earache conditions, skin stuff, uncomplicated musculoskeletal stuff, GI, wounds that don't require any suturing or anything like that, high blood pressure, and that's it. So kind of like the basic stuff. It does say that there are some conditions that require an immediate referral, which is chest pain, febrile illness with over 102, so fever higher than 102, acute distress, altered mental status, pulse above 120 beats per minute, and respiratory rate of 28 per minute or less than respiratory rate of above 28 or less than 12. And systolic blood pressure over 180 and diastolic over 100. Any uncertainty or doubt in the assessment of the patient's medical condition. And any patient presenting to the sick call screener with the same complaint twice during a single episode of illness shall be referred to a physician. So you can't see the same person exactly twice. So if they're sick and then the next day they come back and they're like, nah dude, I'm really sick, that's time to refer them up. And that's really it. This tells you how you can log in for the training. If you're going up for HM1, you probably don't need a walkthrough on how to look up courses in NKO. But I think the most important things here is what is the scope, who does what. It's that 180 days before operational billet or operational platform. This one's pretty simple, cut and dry. Please give me any comments if you have any insights on stuff to focus on. Otherwise, I hope you have a great night. Thanks for watching.